as I said, you'll only see it up on your
Yeah.
Zoom. Hello, 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 everybody. How are you? Here we are live for another Friday night. How exciting! Here we are on the couch with the beautiful Ali McKelvie. How are you, Ali?
Hello, I'm excellent, thank you. How are you,
It's
Sharon?
so it's so exciting to have you here, and I just continually am grateful every time I have these lives with people. Um, because it's just been such an amazing journey just to listen to everybody's different stories. And tonight we've got a ripper with Ali. It really is an amazing story. So I'll get on with it. For those of you that don't know me, though, I'm Sharon Schmidt, founding director of Intuitive Souls. My passion is empowering others through intuition, empathy, kindness, hugs, and fun. I do this across the globe by supporting and empowering others to connect with their inner knowingness and by embracing what is most important to you in your life. But the beautiful Ali, she is a love alchemist and a freedom strategist. We'll get her to explain that a bit later. This woman has this most amazing story. She's a former federal agent who now is a wellness practitioner. She survived 4 near-death experience. Holy corona, I can't wait to hear those. She's travelled to 64 countries, right? She's had so many amazing things going in her life. She's even meditated with monks in Thailand. She's guided animal parties through Europe and Kentucky tours. She has just been from the bottom to the top, roundabout in between, and she is calling herself the love alchemist and freedom strategist. What on earth is that, Ali? I can't wait to hear more about that and your federal agent story. Let's hand it over to you, because here you also tell me that you've dumped and dated a number of celebrities. You're a certified international coach, practitioner, meditation teacher, holistic human development counsellor, Reiki master. Oh my goodness. And you are now the author of an upcoming best-selling book. Look, and I know you are a mama as well. So you've got lots of stuff going on with everything in the wellness, personal growth area, and a wonderful partner that supports all of this. But you actually live on the Gold Coast, where you're able to engage all your superpowers, which are clairsentience, blending science and spirituality, with her ability to guide through her own life experience. So, Ali, holy bloody cow, girl. Oh, my goodness, that is an introduction, isn't it? Wow, welcome, welcome, welcome. That is amazing. But let's kick it off first. Tell me this love alchemist and freedom strategist. What does that mean for people, and what services do you offer them?
Yes, it is a bit of a different one, hey. So hello to you,
Oh,
Sharon.
that's okay.
Hello.
We like different. We can't all be the same, can we?
Exactly right. That's the whole reason that I chose it. So, when people ask me what I do, they're actually going to say, well, what the hell is that, rather than just assuming. So, I call myself the love alchemist, because I'm a dating and relationship coach first and foremost at this point in time. That's what I'm concentrating on at the moment. It's all about conscious dating. So,
what is it?
Conscious dating. So basically, it's for people who are ready to do the work on themselves and learn how to truly love themselves, to be able to go into a really conscious, beautiful, connected relationship. So
wow.
The main people I work with at the moment are women sort of aged between 28 to 40, mid-40s or so. They're women who basically have it all together in all other areas of their life. They've had an amazing career. They're, never had problems actually attracting men or anything like that, but they just can't seem to keep them. Or they keep on attracting, the same kind of people over and over again, repeating those patterns that just aren't conducive to a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So, so basically I've used all of my life experience. Basically that was me. I was that girl at one stage where, you know, had a number of like really great, intense lust affairs, but just never felt like I found the one, or that moment where you just get it and you can just, you know, keep them near you. I guess you could say. So
Oh no, I get it, because I was lucky enough to find my true love at 18. So I've seen this drunken, disgusting person in the corner and knew that he was going to be my husband. So I get it.
and what a beautiful love affair you have had, Sharon. It's a beautiful.
I know, I'm very lucky.
You are indeed. So for those women who aren't as lucky and seem to, you know, find it quite elusive, then that's where I come in. I basically start from scratch, and my main difference in my approach is that I love to have fun with it rather than, you know, be all dramatic and emotional about it, I guess you could say. So the way I bring fun into it is through a bunch of experiments that I get my girls to do.
Yeah, wow.
You know,
It sounds so exciting.
for example, you know, I get them to actually do something like 7 dates in 7 days. And the main thing is they just drop all expectations of anything about the man, about where it's going, because women just get so in their head, and they basically marry the guy before they even meet them. And that's one of the biggest issues that women face today, because men really feel that energy, you know, and really mine's all about blending, you know, spirituality with science. So it's having both sides of the coin to be able to really get amazing results. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I've got some online programs, and of course I'm writing my book at the moment. Yeah.
And you're a mum of a very young little beautiful man as well. So that keeps you extremely busy as well. So you have a very busy life.
I do. But I'm extremely lucky and grateful, especially at this point in my life. For the last 6 months, I've pretty much, so we moved to the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. I've wanted to live up here for such a long time. And I've just been so blessed to be able to just have my own kind of sabbatical, I guess you could call it. So yes, I'm doing my business and all the rest of it, but that actually is secondary to where I'm at in my life and what I've been doing. So it's all about just completely and utterly connecting to my core, to my source, to myself, and honoring that and letting things come up as they come up, and just growing so much as a person. I actually cannot believe the transformation that has occurred in the last 6 months, and to be able to have the space and the time and the support by my beautiful partner to allow me to do that, like it's phenomenal. I can't ever express in words how grateful I am to have been able to do this. So yeah.
And it's so important, isn't it, that when you're on a journey with a partner, you know, some people do it alone, but when you have got someone with you, you really need to have them supporting you. Otherwise, it makes it really difficult. And as you were just talking through me, it's something that I get very much from connecting with spirit is when things are getting a good confirmation for me, they just smother me in goosebumps. But particularly, it's like they throw a blanket on my back. They're such shitheads. And I've just got that with you, that it's just like, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. You know, this is you, and they're doing it again now, and it's funny because
I'm getting the same.
I'm just getting all these lights, these yellow lights that are just flashing up, going, yes, she's, you know, it's like you've talked about your bliss for such a long time, but it's like, here's your bliss. It's on a plate now, right in front of you. And
it absolutely is. And, you know, when we're talking about, you know, the coronavirus and everything that's happened with that, for me, you know, to be able to, you know, my partner lost his job. I had a bunch of retreats and everything booked in that I had to cancel and give all the money back and things like that. But the work that I've done on myself in the last 6 months just set me up to actually be able to, you know, see the opportunities and the blessings in it immediately. And it's just been, you would think that having no income whatsoever with a young family would be like, the worst thing ever. But for me, there has been challenges, of course, but it's really been about that time to really self-isolate, which is what I was wanting to do anyway. So the timing couldn't have been more perfect. To be able to I've been doing a lot of, I don't know if you know the modality breath work.
Yes.
So I've been doing so much of that with this amazing breathwork practitioner, and like I said, I just cannot believe the changes I feel, because I see now what would have been the biggest obstacle and major stress in my life is now where, Rafe is home, he's spending more time with Ari, which gives me time to work on my stuff and things like that. And it just, being out in nature and really connecting in that way and things like that, it's been a huge blessing. And I know that it's not for a lot of people, like that can be a very, very hard time, and a very hard time in terms of mental health and things like that. And that's why it's so important that we really connect in rather than try and be on our phones or whatever and do that avoidance technique. This is the perfect time to do it. And we've been given such a gift, that we just absolutely don't waste it, because we may never get that again.
And I totally agree with you. And I keep saying to people around me, I'm not sure how I'm going to cope when I have to go back to this, because this has been a forced stillness in lots of different ways, and worldwide. So, Australia's been probably one of the luckiest countries, and New Zealand are doing okay as well, but we've been one of the luckiest countries affected by all of this. But it's amazing that some of us are using this time really wisely, but some of us aren't.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely just two sides of the coin. There's this fear that people are buying into, and I am very much on the other side of the coin when it comes to what mainstream media put out and the bullshit that we're being told. And I don't agree with government restrictions and things like that. That's just who I am. But I, as a person on my own, can't change that. What I can change is my reaction to how I respond to it,
Yes.
And that's what I think that's what we need to start to learn for ourselves, is that we are responsible for every little bit of how we respond to the world around us. And
absolutely,
that's the only control that we have, and the only control that we should have.
I totally agree. And today when I was meditating, because I'm fortunate enough between clients all week I meditate. So, between on the couch and clients, I'm meditating. So I'm in a very, like you now, we have so much gratitude for what we're doing. And trust is what really come up. Not for me today, because trust for me is something that I just trust. Everything always works out well for me. But like a universal word for everybody, they need to start trusting that this time is a time that you can, as you said, you either can make the most of it, or you can listen to the fear, and fear creates illness. That's what it does.
100%.
Change creates fear. That's the ego. So we really have to take that step back, don't we? And just still our mind, reconnect with our inner self. That's what it's all about. And just trust that this is going to bring us out the other side in a very different way. I know it certainly is for me.
100%. And, for me, I've come from this place in the last couple of years, which is why I left being a federal agent. So I had a number of big things go wrong in my life in terms of injuries and things like that were outside of my control. I injured myself during a training exercise at work, and I tore something right through my hip and pelvis and things like that.
Yes.
During a training exercise, and that allowed me not to be operational, and it's just something that wasn't healing, and I was just in a state of constant stress, and nothing was working in my life. And, you know, for someone who's always been quite spiritual, especially in the last like sort of 15, 20 years, I've really been on this, you know, on this path, that I couldn't understand why there was so much resistance coming up in my life. And so it really got to the point where I didn't have much of a choice, like in terms of where I was at in my mental state and physical state, the amount of stress that I felt in my body, and the way that my relationships weren't working, that I had to make a big decision. And I knew what that decision was, and that was to leave. And I, you know, my ego, because of being in the police for 15 years, and that's who I was, you know, like that. And
that's right.
You know, being a copper, you have a massive ego that you're attached to, and it took a lot of work for me to be able to let that go. And there are definitely still parts of the job that I really miss, and I feel quite sad about, because there are parts that I absolutely love. But realistically, I just couldn't do that anymore, and I knew what I had to do. So I chose to leave without any financial support or anything like that. But I just knew that was the one thing that I had to make that step. You know, I had to choose what I knew was going to bring me to the place I'm in now. And man, there are no regrets.
And it's interesting, as I did introduce you, saying that yes, you were a federal agent, and you were a federal agent for quite a long time, and you had worked your way up as well. You were quite happy with who you were when you were back in the day, performing at your best.
Yeah.
Still trying to. I remember, I'd met you, and you were sort of you were still fairly well doing, that really important work, but wanting to, move into your Reiki, and you were sort of still kept, merging over there on the other side. You wanted to keep that as your little side thing. But more and more as I got to know you, I could see that Spirit was just taking you on a journey. That's not even an explanation. That was just, they were taking you on a journey. It was time for you to transition into your new role, and they were going to do it regardless of what fighting you sort of did go a bit kicking and screaming, didn't you? Because you did love your role, and I think conversations you and I used to have, I used to think, oh, Ali, it's all right. It's a journey, and that's where you're meant to be. So just for the viewers out there, tell us, how on earth do you get from a federal agent to a wellness practitioner? A love strategist. Alchemist.
Well, basically, I'd studied naturopathy for many years whilst in the AFP. So I've always.
And if people don't know what that is, what is it?
To be a naturopath. So all your hippie shit, all that kind of alternative medicine.
Natural therapies, yeah.
Natural therapies, yeah. But I never wanted to actually just be a naturopath. I did it because it was such a rounded modality that crossed so many different areas, and that's what I really liked about it. So it gave me a really good grounding, and so I love things like homeopathy, and that's how I treat my family and myself and friends and things like that. As I said, I do Reiki for people and things like that. So interestingly, since I've left, the energy in my healings, oh my God, have just like gone through the roof. Like, it used to be, but now it's like, it's just so intuitive, and the energy there is so intense. And sometimes I'm like, holy shit.
I know it can be scaring yourself sometimes, can't it? I know the feeling, because since COVID-19, it's like we have ramped up our energy levels to those of us, particularly that everybody's done it, but us particularly that are aware of that. It's like when you think of turning up the radio noise that's exactly what's happening to us. It's with energy. We just go, "Brrr," and it's just look out because, which has been grateful because we're able to heal. Well, we don't heal anyone. We provide the tools for people to heal themselves, but we're able to do that over, this method, which is amazing.
Yeah. So it wasn't a case that I, decided one day from being a cop, I just decided to become a wellness practitioner. I have had like the last sort of 15 years of in that space as well, doing both as a, it was, for me, it was really important as part of policing to have that balance, because it can be, such a harsh energy and toxic energy to be in. That's how I got through like the big jobs and stuff that I went to. And, there was a lot of, well, not a lot, there was a number of them that really did shake me big time, and took me, probably still working on parts of that as well.
Yes.
So, but in all honesty, as much as I loved it, I know that this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And really, it's such a nice feeling to be able to just be who I am, and
Yes.
I grew up in a very, mainstream Catholic family who, I love with all my heart, but it's very different to who I am. I'm like, the black sheep, I guess you could say. And so it's, it's been a really big thing for me to come out and just be who I am and be this, hippie goddess.
Yes, I know, and it does. I mean, I know I was in the corporate world, in the government corporate world, and I can't even imagine how I mean, I know why you've shifted, but like me, it's not something we've gone, oh, wake up, today I'm going to be a natural therapist, a wellness therapist. That was like not me either. 26 years. It was 26 years that I actually was in the space before, well, 24 years. But yeah, I've been doing it a long, long time, where I've been connecting, and it does. You're right, the balance has to be there. You need that balance to be able to, well, as you say, which takes us into 4 near-death experiences. I'm guessing they're on the job, they're like on the beat type experiences.
Actually, no.
No.
Only one of them. Oh, well, yeah, there's jobs where you kind of like, well, shit, that could have gone badly, definitely. But when we're talking like proper near death, only one of them was whilst working in policing, and it was also in a training exercise where I was doing helicopter underwater escape training, and we're in the cage, and the cage gets turned upside down in the water. And this was done in the Solomon Islands, so there was no one with regs underneath the water if you get in trouble. And unfortunately, I got in trouble, and I got stuck in the harness. It was a harness that because I travelled every single day on choppers and boats. That was my role, was the air and maritime officer over there. So yeah, constantly on the chopper. So I had to do it as part of my job for safety reasons. But it was a type of harness that I had never felt or seen before, and I didn't realise it until I was upside down in the water.
Oh, Ali, that's just given me shivers from head to toe.
Fully submerged. And so the whole thing was, because they didn't have regs, it was like, put your hands on your head. If you get into trouble, we'll get you out. They had an emergency release. I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get this done. I'm like, oh my God. And I started to panic, and I thought to myself, holy shit, okay, I'm nearly out of breath. So I put my hands on my helmet, and immediately the guy came down, and he pulled the emergency release, and it didn't release. So the harness was still stuck on me, and so it wasn't working. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm out. This is me. I'm done. Like I breathed in water. Like I took water in whilst still stuck in the harness, upside down in the cage, and 100%. I was like, fuck, I'm
checking out now.
I'm going to drown. And so what had happened was he had a knife, and he ended up started diving down and cutting the harness off me.
Yeah.
And getting me out, and they pulled me out, and basically the story goes, because I don't remember a whole lot because I was in shock, but I landed on the guy's head like a lizard on a rock because of adrenaline. I was like, nearly drowned him just trying to get up.
Yeah.
About 10 seconds later, I was back in the other harness getting turned upside down in the cage again because I said to them, put me back in, because I know for sure if you don't, it's like getting back on a horse. If you don't put me back in there, I will be terrified.
I'm never doing it again. Yeah.
And so I definitely panicked in the second attempt, got out of the harness, but then you had to like kick the door out of the cage as part of it. But I couldn't kick the door out, so I ended up getting out like, a piece of the cage that actually wasn't humanly possible to get out of. They had it on film, and we played it back afterwards. And I was like, wow, like, it's actually quite impressive.
Now I can see how mice get in and out of places.
Pretty much. They were like, I don't know how that just happened. But
wow.
I found a way. But yeah, so...
I have to ask,
yeah.
So did you go and do it a third time?
No. I was like, get me the hell out of there now. So, but the other thing was that because of the adrenaline and everything that had happened, during trying to get the harness off me, I'd actually dislocated my left shoulder, and no one picked it up for 2 weeks in mission. Like, I was like, oh, like, so it took a few hours for the adrenaline to wear off before I started feeling pain. And then I was just like, oh, it must be just like, you know, I must just hurt it or whatever. And then I like went to the doctor. I was like, you need to be flown out and actually have like surgery.
What?
Yeah. So so my shoulder is still shit from that. But yeah, so it was, you know, actually the only time was last night. I was watching a movie where a guy was drowning, and it was the first time since that happened that I didn't go into full PTSD.
Wow.
I couldn't even listen or watch in any way someone doing that on television, because I'd literally go straight back into it where I couldn't breathe and I'd go into full panic attack. And it wasn't until last night that I was watching something and a guy was drowning, and I was absolutely fine. And I realized that when I was doing breath work not long ago, that during the breath work, I started to get like gushes of water down the back of my throat, and I felt like I was drowning. And it was like, it was me reliving that, but that was what I needed to do to heal that. And I was like, yes, so good.
And, you know, as you were telling me that, I'm like, oh, my God, she's healed this with breath work, because I know the power of breath work. So it's just like that is awesome. And how do you think, how long did it take, do you think, to heal that, you know? Because you've been working with this guy for quite a little while now.
No, so I actually only started the breath work like 8 weeks ago.
And you've been able to.
But I've been doing it intensively 3 days a week for like, you know, I'm with him for like 3 hours at a time. So
yeah, great.
Yeah, I've just thrown myself into it in a very big way.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, that they're two pretty big traumatic, and that's 2 near-death experiences. So what were the other 2? Because I know people are going to be going, well, that's 2. What else? What else?
Okay, well, I won't bore you with the full details, but the third one, or the first one, second, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I've lost track. I was in South America. Yeah, on my way, on the second day, halfway up Machu Picchu, doing the trail. And up until that point, I was like completely fine with altitude sickness. You know, my boyfriend at the time who was with me, he was like really struggling with it. But I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, cool as. We'd be there for quite a few days and I didn't have any dramas whatsoever. And I am anaphylactic allergic to a number of things, and one of them is sulfur-based drugs. So when I went to the travel doctor before I I left. By the way, South America is a whole other story. There's a lot more into that, but we'll just stick with the near-death experience today. So I told them everywhere, anaphylactic to sulfur drugs, blah, blah, blah. And the lovely travel doctor decided to prescribe me Diamox, which is the travel altitude sickness, but it's a sulfur-based drug. Here I am, just trusting doctors like I used to, not so much now. So I'm halfway on the second day, halfway up the Inca Trail in the middle of nowhere. Like, this place is amazing. And for some stupid reason, I decided, I might just take one of them today just in case I get altitude sickness.
Oh, no!
So I took one and we started walking, and all of a sudden I just started to feel like these pins and needles in my feet, and then like so intense up my legs, and it came all the way up to my hips, and it was just like, oh my God, what's happening to me? And next minute, bam, I'm out. Like, couldn't breathe, passed out, and had to be taken off the mountain, like choppered back to Cusco. And
what?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're a cat girl.
They put adrenaline into my leg. I don't really remember much of it at all. I remember just waking up in Cusco in hospital, and that's about all I remember. And then a couple of days later, felt okay, so I was like, I came here to do Machu Picchu.
I was going to ask, I know you, and I was thinking, did she go back?
Yeah. So we ended up catching the train up to Aguas Calientes, and then a bus up to Machu Picchu to the summit, and it was 100% worth it. What an amazing! I'm so glad that I pushed through. It was a phenomenal thing, but that was a really full-on trip. Lots of things happened there. Still got a good bit of a how you going with South America, but.
So, but was that a bit of a spiritual awakening as well for you?
Well, that's actually what got me onto my wellness path, because when I was there, I got Giardia really bad. And when I came home, I was so sick. I didn't eat for like 6 weeks, and I lost heaps of weight. And the doctors were like, oh yeah, you've got a parasite, and you're just going to have to live with it for 20 years. Like,
what?
No. So my friend put me onto a naturopath who put me on these herbal drops, cured me in like 2 months, and that I was like, from that point on, I was like, this is gold. I'm on this train, and never got off it. Yeah, so that's what put me on this path, actually, that particular instance. So.
And it's interesting, isn't it? So many people that I speak to in the wellness industry, that is exactly how their wellness path started, is they had to do their own self-healing from that to actually get there.
Sure. Like I've had anaphylactic reactions to vaccines, all kinds of things like that. And so that's what, a lot of people, when I voice my opinions about vaccinations, are like, oh, you're anti-vax, blah, blah, but, it's not about that. It's about the fact that I'm living proof that it doesn't work for everyone, and everyone should have a choice. It's just about, honestly, for me, it's just about pro-choice, and that people can choose what they do with their own body.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's about choice, isn't it? Yeah. It's so about choice.
100%. Yeah. So my other one was I had appendicitis that was misdiagnosed, and for 10 days my appendix was leaking. And,
oh, jeez.
Anyway, ended up in hospital a number of times, but then the last time where they called an ambulance and took me in, and I had surgery, I went in to have my appendix out. What was meant to be a 4 or 45-minute operation turned into 4.5 hours, and I woke up during the operation on the table. My anaesthetic wore off, and I remember waking up and not being able to breathe because the tube was down my throat. And I went into like a dream state, actually, where I was outside my body, and I was with my flatmate at the time, saying to him, I can't breathe, help me. And it was just that moment of him and I having that conversation, like, I'm dying here, you've got to help me. And then I hear the nurse, and she was like, the anaesthetist wasn't there. He was meant to be by my side and he wasn't there. And the nurse said, "Oh my God, she's coming around." And then next minute, he put me out, and that's what I remember from that. But because of my complications with vaccines and all the rest of it, having more anaesthetic especially, when I came out of it, I went into full seizure for nearly an hour. And even with anti-seizure medication didn't help me. My bladder dilated and turned inside out. I got pneumonia from it and a bowel infection, and basically I was pretty damn close to death from it, from my reaction to what had happened. And because I'd been sick, I hadn't eaten for about a month when I got to that point, so my body was just
exhausted,
not coping in any way, shape or form. So yeah, that particular was a really big turning point in my life as well. I was at a point where I just, lying in the hospital, I had no one around me. I had actually just left my marriage when that happened, and I just felt so incredibly lonely. And I just was like, I'm never going to allow myself to get to this point again. Like, I need to do the work to build relationships and sustain them and nurture them and things like that. And so that was a big thing for me, and how I respond to people around me, and the kindness factor, I think too, like building those relationships. So
absolutely. And that's a huge journey in itself. That's a huge learning journey in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my where I want to go with my business and things like that is that I'm super passionate about helping people in emergency services, obviously. And I'm going in the process of becoming a breathwork practitioner. So that,
how exciting!
building a whole platform so I can take it to the police and other emergency services to be able to help in that respect. Because
that's awesome. And as we know, more and more people are turning to alternative therapies all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, and like there's a need for both. There has to be that that, like we were talking about before, the balance. It's something that I think is really, really important. And
absolutely,
people just need to be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to all these things, and the world will change in a big way, I think, if that can happen.
Oh, I totally agree, and I think we're already on that path, Ali. Changing the way we're thinking about caring for ourselves is totally on a different, brand new path than it started. I know people often go on and on about the woo-woo shit about self-care and self-belief and la 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 la, but as we know in the industry, that without that, you really, I never ever would put down modern medicine, because it's saved the lives of people I love, and it's been there for myself. But there's sometimes where you do have to look at that alternative option.
Absolutely, and I'm the same. I see a need for Western and modern medicine in a big way. Like, there were, if you're having a heart attack, don't call your naturopath.
No, that's right. Exactly.
It's it is absolutely, they play an amazing place and an amazing role, but I just think there needs to be things just need to be looked at in a different light, through a different lens, So.
I totally agree. And look, breath work is amazing, and I look forward to you and I chatting further about that offline.
Yeah, cool.
But listen, I have to ask you, federal agent, for near-death experiences, but this was one that I was like, oh my God, I have to hear the lowdown on this. The lowdown on the dating and dumping of celebrities. Let's enlighten the load a bit.
All right. Well, Sharon, I know you, and I know you're going to ask this question. So I made a vow to myself that I'm not going to give away any names in regards to this. You know, we're on Facebook Live here. We've got to be careful with that.
And I do respect your privacy and theirs, so that's totally
it's more about
okay.
their privacy. You know, I'm the one that did the dumping.
Yes, but still, it's about the respect for yourself, isn't it?
Absolutely. So
you don't have to give names, just give us the lowdown.
Yeah, so I was well, one in particular, I was dating for a while, and you know, I was at that point where I was like, when I first met him, I was like, oh my god, a celebrity's actually like into me. I was like, what?
It's that gluey-eyed stuff, isn't it? Oh,
yeah,
my god!
What? This is amazing. You know, so once I got over the initial shock and all the rest of it, we had a lot of fun together, heaps of fun. He's an amazing dude, lots of life, and a very, very, very big personality. Has been on TV quite a bit, and but it just, you know what, it was such a great thing because during that relationship is when I first just went, I'm number one. Yeah, this is about me, and you're actually not, you know, fulfilling my needs in terms of what I need and what I'm looking for in connection and intimacy in a relationship. And so he was being a bit of a bad boy, if you like. And yeah, so I literally just went over there. I was like, okay, I just, you know, you're right, I just don't think this is going to work. And his was like, what? but
you can't do that.
Hang on a minute, no one's ever broken up with me before. Like, do you know who I am? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I stuck to my guns, and I just decided that wasn't the thing, and I went on a big road trip, and I went on a journey, and that's where my writing actually started. The writing of my book, that's where it started. So
okay.
Yeah, so I started a blog with it, and then I did a bunch of like spiritual retreats where I traveled everywhere, and like I said, I went and meditated with monks in Thailand. Want to hear that about you, by the way, what your experience was like?
That wasn't in Thailand, it was here in Australia.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Didn't know about that.
There's actually there's a monastery here in Canberra. So there's a very big Tibetan community here.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
you can go and do workshops and retreats with them, and it's fabulous.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I have to find out more about that with you, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started writing, and it just was like just flowed. And then I was like, oh, I actually have a bit of a talent for this. And I love it. That's what mainly I've been doing at the moment, is just writing and being in the flow and just sitting by the beach. I'm going to make you all jealous right now because it's like warm in Queensland, and sitting by the beach.
And we've got our heater on.
I'm wearing no sleeves.
I can see.
With no heater.
Yeah, I
know. But yeah, you know, like being able to be down there on the sand, in the water, breathing in the vitamin C and D and all of those things, and just being in nature without anyone around you, at least 1.5 meters from me, that it just flows. And I've my book is really coming along. I've just about to submit my my, what do you call it,
the first cut.
Yeah, that thing.
I know what you're saying, but I've lost it too.
Synopsis. I couldn't think of what it's called.
Yes, that's it. It was gone for me.
Yeah, just about to submit that. And yeah, so my book is called Why the Fuck Am I Still Single? And it's
I love it.
Literally about that girl who just lies awake at 3 a.m. and thinks to herself, no, seriously, why the fuck am I still single? Am I ever going to get my, what I call manly, so man and family, am I ever going to get that? Is that ever going to happen for me? And, you know, she wants the answers. And so my book is about giving her the answers through her own experiential experience and some anecdotal stuff from my life and a bit of humor and things like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, this is, and you know what I love about that the most that you, Ali, and Vicky's actually just said she loves the title.
Oh, thank you, Vicky.
I have to say, I love the fact that you're already telling me that it is a bestseller. I love that. You know, if that's not manifestation, I don't know what is.
That's the plan, Sharon. That's the plan. So yeah, I just love it. I'm just so happy, and I know that when you're in that space and you're writing it, it just comes out on the page, and people can't not love it. You know.
So tell us a bit. Give us some of the gory little details, and what we'll do is when it's published, you can come back and share it.
Well, actually, what I thought I'd do at the end, if that's okay with you, it's a short page, like not long. I wanted to read my preface because it's what the book's about, and I want to do it in a meditative style because that's what I do a lot. I'm a meditation teacher, and I absolutely love to get people in that state. So at the end, I would love to do that with you.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yes, please. I know our audience will love that as well.
Cool.
Thank you. That will be great. So when are you hoping to, and Vicky says yes, please as well. When are you hoping to actually release that?
I want to release it so that I can give it as a gift to everyone for Christmas.
Oh, that's just giving me cold shivers. That's a good confirmation.
That's my plan. That was
that is awesome.
I made that commitment to myself. I did a workshop with Lucy Baker.
Yes.
A couple of weekends ago, and I made that commitment to myself that's the plan. So.
Oh, I want to hear more about that when we're offline. So thank you.
So I do have another exciting thing to share.
Yes, please do.
So it's looking very, very likely that the other half is going to be living in the territory again, doing policing, remote policing.
Okay, congratulations. Tell him I said congratulations.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't got it yet, but he's pretty much,
it's just the tail end of it.
But it doesn't change what we're going to do anyway. So we had plans on, when Ari's young, to travel around Australia, do up a van and travel around Australia. Well,
that's right. You and I have talked about that because we want to be able to bring you onto a live when you're out on the road.
Oh, so it's actually way closer than we realise. We're already looking at bands. I've got the guy who's going to do the fit out for me, and I'm in the process of like doing full dreaming of this beautiful boho inspired van. Like it's going to have a shower and toilet, and so Ari and I are going to travel around Australia. Along the coastline, of course, because we have to be near the beach.
Yeah, of course.
Except for when we go see Daddy and in the desert.
Yes.
And we're just going to travel around with no timeline, visiting family and friends.
Oh, Ali.
I'm teaching him how to play the guitar.
I'm getting cold shivers.
We're literally just going to enjoy nature, live by the beach, breathe in the air, be in nature, exercise. That is going to be our life, and in between, I'll be writing.
Working with your clients.
Pardon?
And working with your clients.
Absolutely. So I want the clients to come on an adventure with us. You know, we're going to film everything, and we're just going to have like this mad road trip around Australia. And
that is amazing.
Honestly, I feel like goosebumps every time I think about it. I'm just like, yes.
Oh, I can't wait to actually, when you're on the road, we definitely will be doing this again.
I would look forward to that like you would not believe, Sharon.
I know. And we will definitely stay connected as you're travelling around anyway. So
yeah,
you have to keep giving the group updates.
100%. I'd love that.
Oh, that really is your bliss, isn't it? That's it really is the true version of following your heart and trusting in your inner knowing that you don't have to be in that box. You don't have to go on a path that's going to not be the best version of yourself. And Ali, you're a very good example of, because you are now in a wonder. You're no longer that young woman that's laying awake at night, 3 o'clock in the morning, going, why the fuck am I single? You actually are a woman that's taken control back of all her power, and you really are doing what is making your heart sing.
Yeah, I am, and I don't like to say I have regrets, because I think that everything is done in divine timing and perfect timing. But if I was to change anything, it would just be that I would just have jumped sooner when I first, thought about it. And the ironic thing is that I knew that at the time. I knew that I should have been jumping then, and you just keep questioning yourself over and over. And if I have any advice to any of you, is that don't wait. And so many, like I heard so many people say that to me, and I still waited. But it's just like you were saying before, Sharon, just trust. You have to just let go and trust, surrender. It's all about surrender. Yep. It really is.
Yep. Just know that everything always works out well. It always does. And if you believe that, and that's what I say to people about my own journey, I have just I know the universe always has my back. I know that Source will never let me down, and they will never put me in a situation that I can't manage. But it's all about our action, our reaction, and our thoughts, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And, I am totally guilty myself of being in a space where I did allow all the darkness in, and I was in a space of, I was down in that hole, and I thought, how am I going to get myself out of this? But I just knew I had to. And I was just lucky enough to be able to, like I said, have the support to hold my hand and just jump,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a blessing. It really is.
I totally get it. It's like a spiritual bungee jump, I reckon. You're throwing everything to the wind, aren't you? I was the same. I was in this very secure job with a very good income. I was, in a leadership role. And when people were looking at me and I was talking about leaving, they could not believe I was walking away from that.
Oh, same. Everyone that I work with were like, "You what? Why would you do that?" And I was on a Comcare claim, only having to work 15 hours a week, getting paid a full wage, and everyone's like, "Are you crazy? You don't have to work any more than 15 hours, and you're getting paid, a heap of money to do that." And I was like, "But it doesn't make me happy.
No,
it actually makes me miserable because I'm not doing what I love."
That's right. That's exactly right.
Oh, the money means nothing when you're sitting in that space of just wishing you were somewhere else. And
yes, I totally agree with that. And that was me. I kept going back in. I kept taking contracts to try and, the fear of actually putting my whole self into my business, I think it was.
Yeah, it's trusting ourselves.
It is. And once you do that, like I finished my last contract in November. And I was, I had someone contact me last week and offer me a new job, and I actually said no. That's the first time I've been brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
I haven't let that money put me back. I've actually put myself above that money. Yeah. And look, my business it's grown so much because it's grown with me and the clients, and I'm making good money now. So,
and like I've watched your transformation as well, and that
you have. You've been there when I was in a little tent in the back.
when we had my blessing way.
Yes.
And now with you, like I see the difference since you've stepped out completely and fully stepped into this. It's the energy is just so different and just so aligned and beautiful. Like yeah, it's like you just feel like a soul sister in terms of like that we finally got to this place. And you know what, there's always going to be things that come up, always. It's just what we choose and how we react to it. It really is.
That's exactly. We have to take that control. We have to take that responsibility. Nobody else. You can blame everybody else for all of your choices, but ultimately it comes back to you and the choices that you make. And that was what I had to learn. I had to learn that if I was really going to give my business a good go, and you've done the same, and I know many others. I can see Sharon Goff out there because she's actually said, so good you said no to the job, Sharon. And I know with Sharon, she's a yogi, and she herself took herself to away from her family for nearly up to 6 weeks to become a yogi. And that was a huge transformation in itself. And just to know that we can do this sort of stuff and we are unstoppable. Once you get that force moving, and you will keep slipping back in and out. Oh my goodness, I took 4 or 5 contracts before I stepped out. You were working 15 hours a week, It basically, divine timing is absolutely spot on. But when they really want you to go, they're going to throw you out that door, whether you like it or not.
Man, did I get some slaps in the face. Yeah, usually takes a bit of a sledgehammer for me, but finally I feel like I'm learning that slowly.
Me too.
Yeah, that's the Leo coming out of me.
It absolutely is. But we're all like it. And again, we can only take responsibility for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess what I think, it's not just about the choices, because no matter what we choose, the outcome is still, there's still an outcome. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you might as well choose something that is going to be the outcome for you, right? There's going to be always a consequence with any choice that you make. But when it comes to what happens and our life situations and things that happen to us, I think it really is the way that we get through that the best is by allowing that in and not judging it. That when we judge, oh, this is good, this is bad, that's us trying to control things that shouldn't be controlled. That it's just about surrender, and it's just about, like we're saying with everything else, just letting go. And
absolutely,
it's
trust just goes back to trust.
I guess allowing is just another name for trust, isn't it?
Yeah. Whatever that word is that aligns to you. For me, it's trust. Some people it's releasing. Some people it's allowing. Yeah. Some people it's whatever it works for you. It's whatever, however that aligns to you. However you feel comfortable in your own skin to make those choices.
Yeah, 100%. So good.
So you're very well travelled, Ali. You've been to bloody 64 countries. Holy caramba.
Very classic.
Oh, my goodness. So tell me, what is your favourite place? Where's the favourite place you went?
Oh, that I get asked that a lot, and it's actually not really something I can choose, I can answer, because every place holds such a different meaning, or other places feel more special than others because of the experience that I had there. I did live in Austria and Switzerland for quite some time.
I love Austria.
So Austria feels like a second home to me.
Same.
I love being in the Alps.
With Austria.
Pardon?
I really connected with Austria. I love Austria.
It's the most magical country. So I lived, in the Austrian Alps near Innsbruck.
Wow.
For about 18 months.
The Sound of Music? Were you running through the hills like The Sound of Music?
Well, actually, no, I was paragliding off mountains every day.
Of course you were.
That was my job. So it was mountain biking. Mountain biking up the into the Alps, or paragliding off the. So I had to get clients to do it. So that was my job. I was like, hey, look, this is fun. Let's jump off a mountain. And oh, mad, loved it. Oh, and but our other part of it was whitewater rafting. Oh, so much fun.
Oh,
So
wow, that could be really scary.
Oh, yeah, can be. Well, luckily it was before my drowning experience, so I was good. But yeah, it's I probably have to say Austria, or I also lived in the Greek islands as well, and it was
beautiful,
like absolute magic. Just totally different energy, though. Very different energy.
Yes. So what's the least liked country you've been to?
Well, anywhere in South America.
You don't like South America, do you?
Well, I actually recently, for the first time, actually thought to myself, you know what? I actually feel like I need to revisit there at some stage to face that fear and to revisit it and come at it from a different angle. Yeah, no Diamox, no vaccines, be good.
Oh, blimey. Oh, Ali, you know, for the very short life that you've had so far, you've really jam-packed a heap of craziness into it. Lots of fun, lots and lots of joy and lots of laughter. And you know, you've been very lucky to be able to have the combination of both through work and through personal experience. So how have you been dealing with COVID-19? I know at the very start of this you said that you're just embracing it and you're just making the most of it. So if there's anything you want to add to that, or more importantly, what do you want to share with everyone out there, ways they can, because, you know, we're here in New South Wales. I'm not sure what you guys are doing in Queensland, but here in New South Wales today, you know, you can have people back in restaurants, and you can only 10, and you can have up to 20 at a wedding, or was it 10 at a wedding? I can't remember. You can start to have crowds around now. You can have 10 people at your house. God, that would be my family in the old days. That wouldn't even be my family in the old days.
Yep, still same now.
Yeah, but you know, what have you done to get through this? Because I mean, I know you're like me, and it's really been a very easy time for us because we've embraced it. If anything, I'm probably cranky about going to the shops and so many bloody people there.
Oh, 100%. I actually got like shop rage the other day. Where I was like, oh my God, that person's really close to me. She was a good couple of meters away. It's like, no, seriously, like, people too close. I'm quite enjoying this space that I have around myself.
I know, and that's what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it was actually a real phenomenon, I think.
Yes.
So, like I said before, for me, it's all about getting back into nature. I have taken a liking to videoing nature. So doing snippets of nature and things like that, and actually building it into a movie kind of clip type of thing to share with people, especially people down south who can get out and, you know, it's warm up here. And, you know, I must say that living where I am, it has made it a lot easier on me. We were still allowed to do a lot of things that southern states weren't allowed to do, just in terms of being outdoors and things like that. Yeah. So I really made the most of that. I just went to the beach every day and did walks and things like that. Swims were essential. But, you know, I guess, like with anything, the best advice is always the most simple. And that is that it was just about dropping any resistance to what is. That's all I did. I just literally dropped the resistance to it completely and just was like, okay, this is where we're at. What do I do now? And it was a case of each day just checking in and saying, okay, so what do I need to know today? Where do I need to be? What do I need to do that's going to increase my own evolution? Yeah. And I still start my day really early, you know, doing my morning routine with my my angel card readings or meditation or exercise or whatever that is on the day. Depends how I feel. I get my my raw cacao, medicinal mushroom, not magic mushroom.
I was going to say, oh, yeah.
Just because I'm not the cops anymore. Medicinal mushrooms. And, yeah, just really connect in. And then I just find that, I remember you saying to me one time about Esther Hicks and listening to
I love Esther.
What's it called? The morning
Rampage.
Yes, the morning rampage. I got that from you. But doing these self-care rituals are precisely what sets up your day, and then your day does just flow. Things just happen as they're meant to, and so really, that's how I got. That's how I'm getting through it. That it's can be frustrating at times, but it really is just a total practice in surrendering and stopping.
I totally agree.
It really is. Yeah.
Absolutely, that aligns to me so much. And interestingly enough, I love the fact, because I often do this. I try and do most things before I even put my feet on the ground of a morning, because that way it just allows me to be in a space where, regardless of what's going to happen that day, I'm in a calmer state. So instead of my vibration being down here already with the cockroaches ready to, rip their heads off, I'm already up here. So if I drop down, it's okay, because it's easier to get back up. And yes, Esther's a great just to even listen to before I even get out of bed. But I'll often if I haven't done it before I've got out of bed, I'll do it when I'm standing. When I hang out the clothes, I try and do a load of washing every day, just so I can stand and look straight into the sun. And I will say, bring me what I need to know or what I need to learn today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really simple things that just
so simple
that we forget. Yeah, we forget. We get caught up in that everyday rubbish, really, don't we?
Yeah, and I think it's also about really making a commitment to yourself to actually commit to the practice on a regular basis, because then it just becomes part of your life. That's been one of the biggest things for me. At the moment, I'm doing a 21-day abundance conscious meditation thingy with Deepak Chopra. And
I love Deepak.
Yeah, and that's just how I start my day every morning. Just doing these things on a constant basis. And I guess, that's why I chose to focus on the dating and relationship coaching, is because I find there's such a hole there where people are, they get up and they exercise each day, or they put, buy all these supplements and things like that for their body, but they don't put it into their relationships. And their relationships is the most important thing there is. When you've got a good relationship with yourself, with your family, with your friends, with your partner, whoever it may be, then the rest of your life, it's so much easier to be able to react properly and respond to things when stressful things happen, when you've got those relationships working, and especially the one with yourself. That's entirely why I chose to do this, because people, I think, so many people have forgotten just how important that is. It's not about how you look. I mean, sure, look after yourself, definitely.
Of course.
But that's not what gives you an intimate connection and that, that soulmate kind of relationship. It's never it's all that energy.
It's that inner connection, isn't it? When you love yourself first, loving everybody else is so much easier.
Yeah, and I know that gets thrown around a lot, but there's nothing more true, because that's what, when you aren't loving yourself and you're not making those choices where you're going to get back what you need, then nothing else flows. You will come up and meet random dickheads, or whatever it is. You just keep attracting that until you learn that lesson.
That's right.
It's just a principle of life. It really is. It's as simple as eating.
I'm so grateful you're out there doing that, because there are so many women, particularly, that we've gone through an evolution of women. We've taken back our power, and so with a lot of men that doesn't align with them, because we are powerful in our own right. And so working with particularly women or men, it doesn't matter who you're working with, but particularly women, to let them know that it's okay to be this powerful woman that you are, but to nurture yourself and your relationships is so important. Kim M says, such a wise owl, Ali. So that's beautiful, Kim. Thank you. I reckon we could look, you and I could sit here and yarn forever. We've been going for over an hour now. So I'd really love to hear your preface.
I would be so
for anyone that has not long joined us, Ali is an award-winning author. She's a best-selling author. And she actually is just going to read the preface from her latest book.
All right, so I can't even see who's on or anything like that. So if everyone, including Sharon, but not myself because I'm going to be the one reading it, if everyone can actually I'd really love it if you close your eyes and just get into that meditative state and just take a big, deep breath in and letting it all the way out. A part of me wants to keep my eyes closed and pull the covers over my head to block out the light trying to be turned on. A part of me wants to stay where I am, to resume, to pretend that there is no other way I am designated to be. A part of me wants to hide in my anger and fear. You know what, Sharon? Can you just bear with me for a second?
You're totally
this
fine,
is like
Ellie.
The wrong draft. Bear with me a second. I totally
That's okay.
everything.
That was so pretty cool, though. What you were saying was pretty awesome. So
I was on Facebook Live, right?
I was right into that. But that's the joy of life, so it doesn't matter, like you should have seen me on Monday. I was in the round pen with some horses, and they were nibbling my ears, and one was trying to push me off the chair, and then it tried to wipe my laptop out, and but it was a great experience. It's all part of it, and not just that, we get to do it again, so that's all that matters.
Yes. Okay, hang on.
Have you got it?
I'm very sorry about this.
No, you know what? We were just meant to get it all over again. It's totally fine. Do not apologise. I'm happy to close my eyes and go back into that state. Not a problem at all.
I'm just quickly grabbing it. If you
yeah, you're right.
Can you tell me a bit more about? Pardon?
I'm going to do a few cards. How about that while you're cooking?
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah. Okay, so pop in the comments field, people, whether you want. Have you already got it? Oh, no. Have you gone and got it?
No, because I think that the first one that I did, I have managed to save over it.
Why don't you just try and wing it?
Pardon? Oh no! I honestly, it's so long. Bear with me one sec. Sorry, I should have checked.
Don't be sorry. Do you want me to do some cards?
Yeah, do some cards.
All right. If you want a card, anyone, so a weekend card, pop your card number in the comments field. I'll do 3, 1, 2, 3. Pop your number in the comments field, and when I call them out, you'll be able to know which card is yours. These cards I'm using are the beautiful Oracle of the Unicorn cards, because I've been learning light language and I'm connecting with the unicorns, which it's never, for me, I'm probably one of those mediums that aren't into the woo-woo stuff. But I can tell you what, I wouldn't say I'm changing, but I am loving these unicorn cards. Excellent, Kim, beautiful. I only said 3 cards, but hey, 5 is fine. Okay, you just let us know when you're ready, Ali.
All right, it won't be long.
Card number 1, how appropriate for this is courage. Over the weekend, you need to take courage in what you're doing. You need to know that you are safe and that I need to put my glasses on because I can't read.
We're a good pair today.
Yes. Courage. So this weekend, card number 1 is you are safe. Fear is an illusion. Set strong boundaries. And look, that will be for a lot of our people that are actually having a little bit of a concern around COVID-19 and with a lot of the restrictions. You will be feeling a little bit worried about that. You know, for the first time, as Ali said, she had a little bit of space rage. I went to the post office today and this young woman said to me, have you pushed in front of me? I said, darling, I watched you walk around on the road behind me because we're at the post office and the whole system was down. And she literally walked out onto the road around me and then come and stood behind me. I said, you walked out onto the road, you walked around me and you stood behind me. No, I've been in front of you the whole time. You just haven't noticed me. But that's okay. And she just looked at me really quite furious. But we will be all very challenged. I'm not going into town this weekend, so I deliberately made sure I popped in today so that I didn't have to. But, just take a stock of yourself. Stop, check card number 1ers and have a look around you and look at your reactions and your actions to what's going on in your space. Kim, please don't be sorry, darling. That's hilarious. I looked at it and I went, I'm sure I only said 1 to 3, but I love that you went 3, so that's awesome. Okay, card number 2 is an adventure. Look at all these changes. So it means that you're going to get to go on an adventure. So card number 2 is don't be afraid to open your eyes to something new. And I made that up. No, I'm just joking. Dare to do things differently, manifest your travel dreams and move to a new location. So those of you that have actually had a little bit of a struggle during COVID-19, now's a really good time to start thinking about where do you want to go? What are you going to do? Start looking at that break that getaway that you need to bring into your life and allow yourself. You're really being encouraged to, if you, and this is what's come to me, and I don't know why this has come to me, but if you've always been a traveller overseas, and I do like to go overseas, they're saying, have a look at a unique place in Australia. You might find it to be just as rewarding. Card number 3 is support. Now, I feel this is more about you, card number 3, that you perhaps have been giving a little bit too much support. And they're saying to you, ask for help. Don't be afraid to call in your guides and angels and ask for that help, extra help. But get real about what you're doing for others and yourself. If you're running with an empty cup and you're giving to everybody, you're only giving them the dregs of you. Fill your cup first and then they can enjoy the overflow. But really they're saying to you, please, nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. So we've got a weekend coming up, card number 3. It says absolutely no reason why you can't even just get a bucket or something like that and just get your feet in a bit of a soak. That's nurturing yourself. But take it one step further. Do it while meditating. And I can promise you'll feel a totally different person. Are you ready to go, Ali?
I am. Are you ready to close your eyes again? All right, if everyone can close their eyes again, I think I've got it right this time. So taking a big deep breath in and all the way out. Part of me wants to keep my eyes closed and pull the covers over my head to block out the light trying to be turned on. A part of me wants to stay where I am. It feels somewhat safe here. A part of me wants to hide in my anger and fear, in my stale beliefs, in my role of being a victim. To hide in the core of my blind conditioning, my choreographed ego and my judgment, so I can continue to proclaim that life is not easy. A part of me wants to tell the world that I have been hurt too many times to move ahead. A part of me wants to justify how my pain has left me frozen, terrified to let go and unable to surrender to what is. A part of me is so afraid to look at what is hurting me that would rather escape or ignore than accept. A part of me is so afraid to open my eyes because the very nature of waking up is to be consciously aware, to be accountable, to be responsible for the healing of my life. A part of me is so afraid to see because it knows the fingers that I've been pointing will be pointed back at me. That when I look out, all I see is a mirror showing me the shadows that lie within. That the angry eyes I see looking at me are my eyes. And that what cowers behind those eyes is the very thing that keeps me small. A part of me does not want to ask myself these questions because a part of me knows the answers. A part of me is afraid because I know that in seeing, I will be asked to surrender, and that in letting go, I will no longer remain. That this process will uncover who I truly am. A part of me knows so well that once I begin to see, I will never be able to unsee again. That in waking, I will be asked to move permanently forward, that it will no longer be acceptable to conceal my authentic nature, the one I was born as, before being squeezed into tiny boxes. A part of me knows that by lingering in my slumber, I will never find true happiness and peace. A part of me feels that this surplus of mediocrity can no longer be sustained, that the window to my yearning soul must be opened and this dark, stagnant room be aired, that it is time to fully accept my journey for all that it entails, that I embrace this adventure like the serene warrior I feel flowing through my veins. Part of me is not afraid to look. It longs to experience unapologetic freedom and love in all its glory. To return to source, to allow my pain and suffering in, to finally relinquish the need for control, to release, to let go. That's it. I'm back.
That was beautiful, Ali. That really was.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. I was actually thinking at the very end how it's we might have to. People out there are really lucky; they can actually just watch the replay of this. But yeah, that'll be something that you can even just fast forward if you just want to sit and reconnect with yourself. What a wonderful way to finish it. Well, Ali, thank you so much. That has just been such a wonderful time on the couch. I've just loved hanging out with you. It's just, and we've gone way over, but you know, anyone that knows me knows that I say, who cares? If people don't want to be here, they don't have to be. But the people that are wanting to be here, we've got Simone that says, wow, Sharon, so true. I'm not really sure what that was for. So, but maybe that was card number 3, Simone, I'm guessing. But look, it's been an absolute blast hanging out with you. It always is. I always love hanging out with you. I'm so grateful that you joined us here today.
Thank you, Sharon.
And thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to be part of your journey as you're travelling around Australia, down the coastline, of course. If anyone wants to get in contact with you about relationships, how can they do that?
So you can get the Freedomologist on Instagram, Ali McKelvie on Facebook, or you can jump on my...
We've tagged you in?
Yes.
We've tagged you in that, so people can just go straight to Ali's page from my page, so you won't need to, you can just click on the link and go straight there.
Yeah, and my website is in my bio up the top of my Insta, so yeah.
Yep. And
all the information is there.
It's just been amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And if you have trouble finding Ali and you want to connect with her about your relationships or lots of the other stuff that she does as well, you know, and you can't find her, just send me a message and I'll make sure that she gets to you. So it's just been a blast. I'm feeling so relaxed. I'm so chilled out. I just love listening to the preface of your book. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing it. You've heard it here first.
Yeah. Wow.
I know, right?
Put myself out there.
Yes. So it's so exciting.
Can you actually see my my shirt?
No. Just love. I love it.
Just love.
I love it.
My final ending is my final.
Just love.
Just love.
Love is the ultimate. I actually said with James, when I was having a conversation with James, I said, why do we call God God? Why don't we just call him love?
Yeah.
Why don't we just call it love? Because love is the highest infinite space that we can ever get to.
For sure.
So thank you once again, Ali. Huge hugs, massive virtual hugs. And thank you all very much for joining us here once again on the couch. It's been a wonderful Friday night. I've had a blast and I hope you do. So take care, be kind, have a fabulous weekend. Sending you all much love, huge hugs, and bye for now.
Thanks, Sharon. Bye.
Bye, Ali. Big hugs.